to receive from God with Bishop David G. Evans teaching When Men Pray.
Have there been times when you have asked someone to pray for you and the prayer has not been answered? Because instead of praying for yourself, you waited until someone else that you thought had more power would pray for you. Prayer is something that you resort to immediately and not as a last resort. You need to learn how to pray preemptively. You need how to pray ahead of time. Don't always be praying in response. Pray proactively. Pray before it happens. Lord, cover my child. Lord, bless my day.
Develop your relationship with God with this dynamic teaching on CD or DVD when you write to us. Visit our website or call 1-800-591-8480.
Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome to On Point, the number one Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America, live every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on any smart device at David G. Evans 1. Won't you please do us a favor this morning and help the message of On Point spread all over the world? Like us, subscribe, share if you will. Hit that notification button so you won't miss a moment of On Point as we talk about those things that are significant in your life. Faith, culture, religion, politics, sports, major events that have a major impact on your life and on your future, but always from a biblical perspective, always from a kingdom perspective. So we invite you to tag 4 or 5 people this morning and invite them to join us here on Point. It's so good to have you once again as we talk to the most intelligent faith-based callers in the world. Such an honor to have the chance to talk to you once more as we talk about those things that are often difficult but necessary for us to dialogue about. We want to get the information to you that you need to know. Christians especially cannot live life with their head in the sand. We must be aware of things going on around us. The Issacharians in the Bible understood the times and knew what to do. Understood the times and knew what to do. Of course, joining us this morning as our world-famous co-host, Reverend Nicholas Smith. Hey, man, how you doing?
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody. We're glad you're here. You can give us a call at 866-743-8267. That's 866-743-8267. That's 866-74-EVANS. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you this morning about those things on your heart. Also, we want to remind you that whenever you have a prayer request, you can send it to us at social. Send it to social at go2bethany.com. That's Bethany.com. And of course, if you're watching us on Facebook or some other platform, we'd love for you to comment today about the things that we're talking about. But start to share right now. If you haven't already begun, start to share so our audience can build, so we can be as effective as we can be with as many people as we possibly can at the same time. We're glad for our callers, our regular callers. You're just so faithful. We pray for you and we thank you for praying for us and keeping us relevant and keeping us on point. So, Pastor Nick, have you been watching the hearings?
Reading about it. I haven't been watching them.
Yeah, I watched. I've been able to watch like segments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I have a break or something, I'm watching a bit. I thought the young lady Cassandra
Cassidy Hutchinson.
Yeah. An insider's view. Someone that was around them and heard them.
Mm-hmm.
I also understand that she received a note from, they're saying now definitively from her boss. I believe it was her boss or someone high up in the hierarchy of the White House that basically when I read the message, I was like, oh man, that's a little intimidating.
Okay.
They're watching and they know you're going to be loyal, and I mean, wow.
Yeah. They're cutthroat, but I mean, I'm glad she stood up, said what she had to say. And the crazy thing is a lot of the things she said about the Secret Service, about him trying to go to the Trump trying to go down to the rally, grabbing the Secret Service. I believe all that stuff is true. It's his personality.
He's out of order.
Yeah, I mean, like you don't. The people that are trying to protect you, you have to let them
Do their job. Yeah.
And not, because if they got down there and he got trampled, then he'd be the first one complaining, how come y'all didn't protect me?
Well, it's no different than, if we're going on a speaking engagement, preaching engagement, and security says you need to do this and that, we don't stand there debating with them.
Right. Yeah. Let them help you.
They're there to assist you
Yes.
in staying safe.
Yeah.
So let them help you. But, from what she said, service had to say, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Because his job also, while they're there to keep him safe, is for him not to put them in situations
Absolutely.
that are voluntarily dangerous. I
wouldn't have gone if I was his security detail, just by the fact that he's saying allow the people with the weapons to get in. That means he's not safe because you don't know who is carrying the weapon.
Yeah. And then when they had the monitors when people walk through.
Magnetometers,
They removed
Take
all
them
that,
down.
took them down, which means they knew.
Under his order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The metal detectors.
So they were anticipating violence and loss of life.
Yep.
I was surprised, though. What surprises me is not that it was said that the threats were deserved by Vice President Pence. I wasn't shocked by the fact that he would not get in the cars with the Secret Service. That's pretty widely known. But I was shocked at the fact that even though his life was under threat and his family was in the building with him that day, that he still is carrying his water like nothing's ever happened.
Yep. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. I don't know. Like they fear his base that much. That it's not like Pence is has any specific title. He's not a governor. He's not a senator anywhere.
No.
Unless he's.
I think he had desires to run.
His aspirations for.
Yes. He aspired to the presidency.
So he doesn't want to mess with that group right now. But you just got to have a backbone somewhere.
Well, he professes to be a man of faith, and I wonder what concessions he had to make in that confession in order to dwell peaceably with the president.
Or he went along with he believes in some of the stuff
well,
too.
That's the
because
other
their
thing.
view of Christianity is
different. So it's politicized. That's the problem. It's politicized.
Yeah.
I remember when he got nominated to be the vice president, and the general consensus from his state, yes, take him off our hands. Get him out of here.
Yep.
But to have a problem and place the problem in a national place is short-sighted, but people are not often thinking of that. Let me get the rat out of my house. I'm not worried about him coming to your house.
Yeah. And I think he was a genius pick for Trump's VP because Pence would bring over that religious crowd.
More.
He would legitimize.
I'm glad you said it that way too, the religious crowd, because I'm not sure. I am sure, as I've seen over the last 4 years of the former president's term, I saw the national church exhibit some characteristics that in my lifetime, I thought I'd never see it so visibly.
Yes.
I knew they existed, but I did not think they would be so visible and active and behaving as. Here's the thing that was short-sighted to me, and I need you to kind of chime in on this and correct me if I'm wrong. I got the impression that other religious leaders, some of them I know, some of them I've been in meetings with for years, some of them I've spoke to, eaten with, that type of thing. I got the impression that they thought President Trump was going to be in office for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Because, once the gopher sticks his head up out of the hole, you can't say you didn't do it. And their heads came up and stayed up a long time on a variety of issues.
Yeah. And I think that's where that crazy, kind of what we talked a little about this week during Issachar, that crazy prophecy of Trump being Cyrus, and they really went wholesale that America's becoming, which actually already is, more secular.
Yeah,
We
of
just
course.
refuse to admit it.
It is.
It just is what it is. And Trump is going to usher in this new reign of Christianity, and God's going to use him like Cyrus and all these people to establish this Christian nation. And I'm like, it's
I remember a friend of mine. She will remain nameless, and she's a national figure on preaching platforms, saying to me directly that Jesus was back in the White House, and that President Trump was bringing Jesus back to the White House. My question to her and those that, when did the transformation occur?
right, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it certainly wasn't on the campaign trail.
Yeah. And somewhere along the line with that, and this crazy belief that now that Roe versus Wade is overturned, this revival's going to break out.
Oh, no.
Ain't no revival.
No,
If a
no.
revival's going to break out, it's not going to be because of that.
No.
We're going to see more political violence, as we're already seeing.
Yeah.
But there's this belief that overturn this one issue, everything will be made right.
Well, last night in my ordination class, we had a 45-minute discussion after class was over. So class ended at 9. One of the students asked a question, and it migrated over to present issues. And the general consensus was, and I brought the point up, I said, can you please tell me if you have heard any governor, any senator, any congressman, if the Supreme Court injected God's name into this debate, this action.
Yeah.
No one could tell me where they've heard anyone attach God to this decision.
Yeah. Because
It's a political decision. It's not God.
It's not God. Yeah.
But they want to give the my friends that are on the religious right are trying to give the impression that it is a religious decision, but it's not motivated. I also told the ladies, and this probably will get me some trouble. I told them that I thought that the whole women's lib movement was a hoax. And I saw a couple of them take a breath, but the reality is, if I'm legislating, and we're pro-life, I don't know why we got to keep saying that. We're pro-life, womb to tomb. If we're legislating when and how you can have a child, then you're not liberated.
Okay.
And they were like, oh.
From the women's lib side, you saying?
Yeah, that women's lib, women empowerment, all that.
Yeah.
A lot of these decisions, some of the subtle ones, the contraception and all that, is kind of showing me that that whole thing was to satisfy them, not necessarily. Because if they were liberated, this, I think it's an attack on their freedom.
Yeah, I mean, the women's lib had some good aspects of it, of women getting equal pay.
Absolutely.
Their gender not.
And I don't understand why that never was. Now, I don't agree, and this might get me in more trouble, that the WNBA ought to be getting paid the same as the
This
as
is
the
this
NBA.
is capitalism. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
If they were generating the same money,
Yeah,
they
but-
would get the same.
But that game it's not at the level where, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's a numbers thing. If
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
generating the same
Yeah.
income,
They'd get it.
then they would get it.
No, but they want it without generating the same income.
Yeah, it's not the same.
And you can't be missing 70% of your shots during a game.
Right. Now, the women's soccer team, on the other hand,
They can play.
they can play.
Yes, sir.
They're outbeating the men.
Yes, sir.
They should be getting, they're more
Equal or
popular
more,
than the men.
or more so.
Right. But,
You know, it's just like with tennis, when Venus really spearheaded that whole thing at Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And then it multiplied around the world. You know, but they were champions. She was a champion when she said that.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I think that, again, it goes back to you got some good things that happen, and then they give you those tokens. And you're satisfied with the tokens.
That's right.
With no real change.
And then they snatch the important stuff
Yes. We'll give you this, and then boom.
away. Boom.
It's like the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
It was necessary. But again, they
Yeah.
gave us one thing
Yeah.
and then started taking.
You can't shoot us down on the street and say we have civil rights.
Right. Well, they always take something for giving something.
Oh yeah. And I'm concerned now that the National Christian Church, from a faith part, from a religious point of view, has won a victory, saving the lives of children. But I believe wholeheartedly there are going to be some things we're going to have to give up for it.
Oh yeah.
Because if they'll attack something important, like prayer in school was attacked, and they're going to come after some stuff. There are going to be some people that come after some things that we did not anticipate. And I know Christians. I've been one for almost 50 years, 45 years. We hate being told what to do with our religion, vehemently.
Which is why they're acting out so much. Because they believe this false notion that we have been we have never been a Christian country from its inception.
No.
Never.
You can't say we're a religious nation. You might be able to say we're a religious nation, but we can't say we're a Christian nation.
No, never been.
No. But when you say something like that, you're talking about a nation that's ruled by its book. So the Quran rules those nations that are Islam.
Yeah.
Christianity does not rule this nation.
Not at all.
No.
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, do we really want? We got people that can barely contain 100-member church. Do you really want Christian? I'm just saying.
Okay.
Leading the whole entire country. I mean, it's who's doing it.
Not from. This is something I brought up last night during our conversation. I told them, I said, we go all the way back to the garden, and God gives you a choice to follow him. This is the tree, don't touch it, but it's your choice. They choose against it. It has some consequences, but that does not take away the fact that God gives us a will, and he desires us to choose him.
Yes.
But oftentimes we don't.
No. Same thing with this, with abortion. A choice is made. Jesus never forced anybody to follow him. We're trying to force people to become Christians, and it's not going to work.
And we think if we force them to do certain things works,
Yeah.
that'll mean they're following us.
Right.
But it's not going to work. I'm concerned about. Here's my this is my dichotomy here. I'm glad they're saving babies' lives.
Yes.
I'm pro-life all day long.
Yep.
At the same time, that's my belief. Do I have the right to inflict someone else with my belief? And I don't think I do.
I don't think so.
Okay.
And saying crazy stuff like if a 14-year-old girl got raped, saying your child is a blessing. What kind of mess is that?
And then give the rapist visitation.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm like, come on, y'all. Like, let's.
All right. So the guy that had a baby, well, he ain't coming to my house.
Like, come on.
But still, at the same time, I don't think that's my belief that the baby should be born. But even at the same time, we're talking out of sterile situations.
Yes.
And I believe that for some of the people that have legislated this stuff, they either have already made decisions in life that contradict it, and if it happens to somebody they love, they're going to contradict it again.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? They're going to take them to the doctor. They're going to call it a DNC instead of an abortion.
Yes.
Okay.
Look, I mean, that happens to most parents would consider their child in a situation like that that's completely traumatic, making a decision, say, look, you have a right to decide what you want to do at this moment.
Well, here's my other dilemma, and I brought this up last night. So, say for instance, first off, what happened to not getting pregnant? That's what I brought up last night. We're on the wrong end of the debate. What happened to being responsible and not getting pregnant?
I know.
Is
Yeah. And if it does happen, we made a mistake, whatever.
But not as a form of birth control.
Yeah, I don't believe abortion in a form of birth control is not.
I think if a woman's life is clearly in danger.
Yes.
If a child is coming into the world and is totally just messed up, and I've seen that happen in my own family. All right, extended. I get it.
Yeah.
But I'm amazed at what happened to being responsible.
Yeah.
So we don't have to have this debate at the level that it is.
In our hypersexualized world, it's this is study. They study that doctors are saying that vasectomy appointments are going up after
I know 2-3 guys in the last 6 months that have gotten them. I know 2 or 3 guys, man, that have gotten them.
Yeah, I mean more and more guys are getting it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Suppose they turned, don't want pregnancy, so men over a certain age have to get vasectomies.
See, that's the thing.
They that thing would explode.
They're not going to come after men. There's a branch in Christianity. It's very popular. That some Southern Baptist church people preach this.
I know.
That basically a woman is there just to carry his babies.
Yep.
That same old thought process.
Yep.
And everything's the woman's fault. She gets raped. What did you have on? You know, this is one of the problems I have with Christianity and how we teach men and young boys.
Do they believe that if incest happens in a family, that it's the child's fault?
I don't know if all of them will go that far.
Okay.
Some may, but my problem with the whole purity movement that was popular in like the 80s and the 90s was they taught the onus was all on the woman.
Right.
And taught no real character development to the guys.
It didn't make any sense to me then. It doesn't make any sense to me now.
Right. The old adage of a boy will be a boy. And I remember I was told that before. You know, go do your thing, have fun.
Really?
And then when you get a little older, you get
now,
serious.
I was told the opposite. Now, it didn't stop my
It
pursuit.
stopped you from doing
It didn't stop my pursuit now. I don't want anybody to get that impression.
Right.
My mother was clear.
Yeah.
Don't go out here and make no babies.
Yep.
Don't bring that up in here.
Yep.
And we stuck to that.
Yeah, that's weird.
I didn't stop any activity. We were thoughtful in our pursuits.
Right.
If I can say
Right.
I can say that.
Right. I think we need to teach our boys character development too.
Absolutely.
You know, value yourself. Don't put yourself in situations that's going to mess you up. You know, ... And not just blame her for everything.
But here's the contradiction. You can't tell the boys, go out and sow your oats.
Who they gonna sow them with?
You got to sow them with a woman. And then most men, in the vernacular of people in these days, don't want a girl that's been run through. Most guys don't want a woman that's had, 15, 20, 30 partners.
But you were there to participate in the running through. It's come on.
You perpetuated the environment.
Right, thank you. You got to balance it out, son. I just think that a lot of Christian thought with boys and sexuality is like we're monsters that can't control our emotions,
we're
and our desire. We're animals, and we can't control our desires. So she has to be the one to control it, rather than we have to be responsible.
But that's an unfair statement to animals, because they don't breed all the time.
That's true. That's true.
They don't breed all the time.
That's true.
They have times when they breed.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like they out there every day.
Let's not be unfair to animals, because they don't behave like beasts like we do. It's unbelievable.
Thank you. And you and I have counseled many couples.
Yes.
Where the woman is talking and the man's talking, and you just want to look at him and say, "Are you stupid?" Because he has like this. He's 40 years old.
Yep.
Like he's 14 years old.
Yep. Undeveloped.
And you're like, seriously?
Undeveloped. But then, if you have an undeveloped mindset in a man, and the fantasy mindset of most of our women,
yes.
So you have immaturity and fantasy trying to make a relationship.
Oh my goodness! And she has to make an excuse for everything about him, and
and then takes no responsibility for anything that she does.
Yes, trying to make him into something, and
here's the issue with trying to make somebody. The only image you have to make them is yourself.
Right. Yes.
So when you say you're going to change an individual, change them into what?
Right. Into the fantasy in my
mind.
Wow. And now you said that, it makes total sense. The only way they can continue to justify this craziness, because they're living in that fantasy of one day he's going to match who I see him in my mind.
Idea. Now, not shown. She has shown no aptitude. He has shown no propensity. But I'm going to change him. No.
Wow. I don't think you should get married hoping that somebody will be a better person.
Well, it's buying into desperation will cause you to reshape an individual who's given you proof that they have no intention of changing.
Right. And hoping that one day they'll get it together.
Well, it's almost like some men and some women think they're going to get to be 30 and suddenly they're going to be husbands and wives.
Yeah, and it's not like that.
And the fantasy that most of us have, legitimate fantasies. And I say legitimate versus illegitimate. If you're going to get in an illegal life, then you can possibly make a lot of money. Yeah. But there's more broke drug dealers than there are, ones really making it. Yeah. But there's this thing that, you got to bring more than an appetite and a knife and fork to a relationship.
Yeah. And you're right. We're seeing that more and more. We've always seen it. It's just that what I can get from this relationship more than what I can bring to the table to make the relationship work. Because I'm sure in your counseling, my thing is, okay, you're complaining about that, but what are you doing to help or hurt the situation? Well, and they never think about.
It doesn't go that far past it. Because there's no personal responsibility. It's a one-way mirror.
Right.
I can only see you. I can't see myself.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm just what do you mean? What am I bringing to the table? The only people that get offended, male or female, when asked that question are people that know they're bringing nothing but they behind to the relationship.
Yeah. Not realizing that
it's going to take a lot more than your presence.
Yeah, that presence.
Come on, man.
Because you can get it anywhere.
Come on, man. It's going to take a whole lot more than your presence. Your sense of humor is not compensation for somebody who's going to take care of you.
Right. Yes.
Your looks is not compensation for that. The Bible talks about a mutual submission.
Right.
The Bible talks about help meets.
Yep.
Which is a co-regent type of illustration. So in the context of that, each person has to bring what's of value to the other one. But most people want value but don't want to bring any value.
Right. Yes.
Like guys want a high value woman, but I don't want to work. I just want you to take care of me.
Yeah.
Women, bring their looks and their hips and think that a guy that's high value, guy that's accomplished and performs well is going to want that. No, you can't get offended.
Yeah.
Because you're being expected to bring something substantial other than an idea.
Yes. Two things. It's not you bringing it up. Not building a relationship on stuff that can change. Because your looks, I don't care how.
They're going to fade.
They're going to fade. You need something where we can still get along with each other and talk after we look different.
Something that time doesn't defeat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the second thing I'm noticing is this thing where we want traditional treatment from the other person.
Oh, yeah.
While I'm expected to bring a non-traditional role to the relationship.
No, that's not going to work.
And it's
fantasy.
Yeah, I don't want to cook, but I want you to provide everything.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to provide everything, and I want you to clean up everything.
That's fantasy.
Yeah.
It's fantasy. And you cannot coexist peacefully for long if you're the only person getting what you want.
Yes. They're liking this conversation.
Are they liking it? Who's on the phone? Tom's on the phone. Let's go to Tom. 866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. If you need to understand more of this, I think it's on YouTube. It might be.
Which one?
I love you, but I don't understand you.
Yeah, but let me check and see if it's
you need to get that conversation. I love you, but I don't understand you. We can reasonably say that series was a worldwide hit. I love you, but I don't understand you. Let's go to Tom from Florida. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Man, we're trying to make it, man.
You were talking earlier about the young lady who was in front of Congress, and other than the president using so many colorful metaphors constantly, I think the key thing that people aren't paying attention to, but the lawyers are, is that Trump actually said, when it came to the magnetometers, take them down because he knew the crowd was armed, but they're not here for me.
They're not here to hurt
And
me.
he made that point. They're
Yes,
not
sir.
here for me.
Yeah. So that speaks to me of his full involvement in what happened on January 6th, planning what he was trying to get incited, and that to me he was anticipating violence. But then I think when the young lady said that her boss said, you know, I think it's something to the effect of it's going to get real bad on January 6th. But then the outcome, loss of life, injuries, all of that, and the fact that I think he didn't react. If I see something happening, Pastor Nick, and I don't react to stop it, that must mean I want it to perpetuate.
Yeah, to keep it going.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a couple other key things that she said that the Secret Service had identified.
Yeah.
When they were doing the hearing, she said the Secret Service identified an AR-15 in the tree at the corner of such and such.
Wow.
They identified 9 millimeters at the corner of such and such. So people were not hearing about this until this past week, that the Secret Service had identified people with serious weapons out there.
Well, here's what I don't understand. How? I don't know the range of a weapon. I know some of them can be up to a mile, some half a mile, regardless. How do you let someone with a weapon get that close to a president?
Yeah.
Unless you're pretty
the other
sure,
thing, too, was
unless you're pretty sure, like he said, they're not coming for me.
Yeah, late last night, they came out with the person who was sending her the text, and it appears to be the chief of staff who she worked for.
I saw it.
Sending her the
I saw it.
the
Is his name Meadows, I think?
and-
Is that Meadows?
yeah,
Okay, yeah. They say he sent her the text.
yeah, that says a lot about him.
But I understand she, at first her attorneys were those that were appointed to her by the Trump team. And then she had to fire them. And once she fired them, she was ready to testify.
Because this is considered, if she lied, and they caught it. This
Oh,
is,
yeah,
this is
that- yeah,
lying
that's
under
perjury.
oath.
Yeah, it's
perjury.
perjury.
So
Yeah,
she gonna save herself.
Yeah. But they probably wanted her to shade the truth or not tell the truth. And, you know, don't tell them about this, don't tell them about that.
Yeah.
You know, and she fired him.
And if she went to jail, Trump wouldn't be there to.
Oh, no, he's not bailing her out. Not bailing her out.
Yeah.
You know, there's I know the story of one guy, pretty famous among the protesters that day, and he went to jail, and he actually had a limo and stuff sent to the jail. His family did, because he just knew the president was going to get him out that day.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And guy's still in jail.
That's the thing, and some of them are still supporting him.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't. They,
he could have pardoned y'all on the way out and chose not to.
but he didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
He wasn't thinking about him. He didn't care.
He didn't care.
And it's funny, they're congressmen, they're asking, were you on the list to get pardoned? And they're saying everything but, I don't think I need to answer that question, or...
It's a simple question to
sidetracking the
answer.
question.
It's a simple question. Yes or no?
And, you know, the answer is, if you didn't do it, you'd say, no, I didn't do it. But if you're sidetracking it, that means
You did it.
probably said,
Yeah, you did.
please pardon me.
Yeah, did it. But then I don't think he pardoned. Who else?
I don't think
Just
he pardoned
Stone and who else? And Flynn.
Very few.
Okay.
Very few. 'Cause none of the people that were on the ground, no, they didn't get nothing from him.
But the pardoning of them makes them vulnerable, though, because now they can call them in to testify.
Yep.
And if they don't tell the truth, they got to go to jail.
Yep.
But I think that the thing that most people don't understand is when you get to a level of questioning like this, they're questioning you and subpoenaing you based on evidence they have. And they're not trying to find out stuff from you. They're trying to get stuff confirmed.
Right. Yep.
You been doing all right, Tom?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just waiting for this 4th of July. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Well, you know it's going to rain in Florida, man.
Right.
Yeah, well, you know how it goes.
It rains every day in Florida, doesn't it?
Usually around 3 or 4 o'clock.
That's my experience with Florida every day.
But, you know, it's in and out. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it rains, it dries up, you're good to go.
Yeah, you guys don't have a drought. Don't have a drought this year, do you? You know,
No, not as a matter of fact, just the opposite.
Okay.
Especially, I'm north of Miami,
Okay.
but they have a lot of problems down there with flooding these days.
Yeah.
So,
All right, man. Good to hear from you.
take care.
Talk
I have
to
a
you.
question.
Go ahead.
Is Pastor Nick losing weight over there?
Yeah,
Looking a little smaller.
he's being purposeful.
Yes.
Yeah, looking good.
I got kids.
He's being purposeful, trying to keep up with him.
Right.
All right, take care.
Talk to you now.
All right.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. This is On Point, the #1 Saturday morning Christian-based call-in talk show in America. Live at David G. Evans 1 on any smart device. We're going to Bunny in Daytona Beach. We're going to Danny in Lauderdale. Bunny, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Bishop. How are you doing?
Trying to make it.
Good. Well, I hope you are making it. Listen, I liked the context in which you brought up the statement that about what does a man or what does a woman bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a slightly different situation context that happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, marriage or remarriage was on the table with me, and it was a young man who was a PhD at one of the top tier universities. It was during the time when Dad was still president, and I just want to say at this particular time, nearing the end of his presidency, presidents, particularly HBCUs, and one or two white schools, presidents of white schools, were always calling him for his advice and help and things of that nature. And so this young man, he had a PhD in engineering, and one day he said to me, now, we're talking about marriage here, buddy, and I have the money, I have the house, I have the car, I have the bank account. What do you bring to the table? And he let me know that my womanhood was not enough, and he said that I have to keep in mind that one day he wants to be a HBCU president, and he has to be with someone who understands the presidency, and I was not good enough. Okay. And
he used those words, good enough? Did he use bunny?
No, I'm gonna count it. Wait a minute. Listen. Wait a minute. Hold up.
Answer my question now. Wait a minute. Answer my question. Did he use the words good enough?
He didn't use the exact words, but the tone and the...
I didn't ask for the translation. Tell us what he said.
Okay, he said that he wanted to be an HBCU president, and he needed someone who understood the presidency and who could be a good president's wife.
Okay.
And he felt that I was not
that person.
fitting that bill.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and that type of thing.
Okay.
But he kept saying, I make more money than you. Okay. I have a house. I have this. I have that. Okay. What material things are you bringing to the table? Okay. Okay. All right. And so it really kind of threw me off a little bit, Bishop, because it kind of threw me off. It threw me off.
Let me ask you a question. Did you have any expectations from him when you are considering a serious life with a male? Do you have some things that you prefer?
My expectations of him had a lot. Well, it had a lot to do with what I already saw in him. At least what I believed I saw.
Okay.
I did like his morals. Okay. He had a grind. He was very, very good in his work. He was very kind to me. One little issue, though, that I did have, and I must admit it was a red flag for me, was he thought very highly of himself, a little bit too much, to the extent that if you did not meet his expectation or level. Wait a minute, let me give you a perfect example. I have a friend who has
Bunny, you kind of migrated away from the answer to my question. What I'm asking you, and I don't believe for a minute that your expectations were based upon him. We normally have to have expectations before we meet a person. So in your desires for a man, what criteria did you have in place that you preferred?
I preferred someone who was very kind, who would care about me, who would be a good provider, who would well, my preference was that they love the Lord, and he was a Christian.
Okay.
And that's where I was at that particular time, still am in a way. And I have to kind of go back a little bit, Bishop, to really think where I was. We don't
have too much time, but what I'm getting to is this: you had preferences that you believe were absolutely legitimate, right?
Yes.
He had preferences that absolutely were legitimate. So we can't have personal preferences and disqualify someone else's. I can't have a list of expectations for you,
right,
and not acknowledge and process and accept your list of expectations for me.
Okay.
So, but what happens in life with men and women is that a guy who is not working, living in his mother's basement, has an issue with the fact that you're looking for somebody professional. Or a guy who's professional, who's really got a grind and all this, asks what the woman brings to him, and she says, well, I'm bringing myself. It's not enough.
Okay.
A lot of men think all they need to do is be present. It's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of women think that also. I'm the prize. Some men think they're the prize. Some women think they're the prize. But eventually you got to open the box to see what's in it.
Right. Oh, I didn't necessarily look at myself as a prize and stuff.
But you did have your preferences.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
What it was, Bishop, let me tell you what it was. Basically, when we got together, when I saw him and everything, I wasn't necessarily thinking in terms of preferences. I just liked the type of person that he was.
But that many fit into your preferences. Yes. He fit into your expectations.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, you're giving me a word salad this morning. I'm not used to that from you.
It's probably the woman emotional thing.
It felt like a rejection in the moment.
It was.
But again, the reality is if you didn't fit his preference, that's fine. There's somebody else out there where you could fit that person's preference.
Yeah, but we can't have 10 things on a list that we're demanding. Yeah. And I'm using that word demanding. You didn't. 10 things on a list we're demanding, and then when a person turns around and says, "Okay, I've got this going on. What can I expect from you?" Yeah. You can't say, "Well, I should be enough."
Yeah. People have a right to their preference.
Yeah, I got a sense of humor. That ain't working.
Yeah, like we know there. I mean, you know more wealthy people than I do. Yeah. Where some rich people will get with a person that doesn't have the same amount of money or status, but they meet another need for that person.
What they bring to them
Yes.
is of equal value in their mind.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
that's what
They
I
may not
think.
bring the money.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've got to bring something of equal value to the
Yes.
person.
Yes.
It may not be material, but I've got to bring something of equal value.
But that's what that person needs versus somebody else may have money. Say, I want somebody with some money too.
Yeah.
Right to their preference.
But we need to get this is a question that it's not a question, it's a statement. Many men want to marry up to income that women have. Many women want to marry up to income that men have. But here's the flip side of that.
Yeah.
If I'm marrying up, what is the person doing?
Right.
Marrying down. You know? But we think of this stuff in non-reciprocal terms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's fantasy.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to bring the same thing I bring.
Yes.
The man doesn't have to bring the same thing a woman brings. A woman has to bring, but you got to bring something they need.
Yeah. Exactly.
And watch this. And you can't decide what they need.
Yes.
They
have a
bring
right.
they have a right to
Got
that.
a right.
Gotta let you go, Bun.
Okay.
Bye bye now.
Bye.
866-743-8267, 866-743-8267. Give us a call. We got about 10 minutes. Let's talk to Danny. Hey, Danny, how you doing, man?
Good morning, Bishop. Good morning, Pastor Nick. Staff, how y'all doing today?
We're doing good today, man. We got a hot conversation going on here, and people loving it.
Yeah.
What's some of the comments online, Pastor Nick? Hold on, Danny.
Okay.
What they say?
We're agreeing, like, you know,
Okay.
eventually you have to open that box.
Yeah, man.
And people have a right to their preference. And if you don't fit it, it's fine.
It's fine. But people want to be offended
Yeah.
because I want you to have 100 things that I need,
Yeah.
and you don't have anything but yourself. That's not enough.
It's not enough. Right. Yeah. And then I feel bad because I don't fit your preference, but it's.
Well, here's the thing. So ladies say, at some point say, all I want is a man. That's not true.
Yeah.
Because if that's all they get is a male, they're going to be dissatisfied shortly. Guys say, I just, she's just pretty. That don't last. If she's whacked,
Yeah. It's not going to last.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So you got to bring more than knife and fork and appetite to the table.
Yeah. And you and I know people who they themselves want somebody to accept them the way they are, but they won't accept somebody else that's just like them.
Oh no, well they don't want that.
Yeah.
But here's this. You want me to accept you as you are, but you're not willing to change what you want me to change into what you want me to be.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I know folk tell me, I know I got this about me, but I don't want that in somebody else.
Okay.
But how does that?
Why don't you change that?
Thank you. Or if you can't change it, then get somebody that will just.
Someone told me recently, the older you get, the more you become who you are unless you intentionally change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just get more and more of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody 4'11", I want somebody 6'4", but I don't want nobody that's under 6 foot. Hello, like
You 5'4".
People say that stuff like it just
Barely standing up.
like come on. I don't like the short jokes, but I don't want to be with nobody short. I want somebody
Come on,
2 feet
now.
higher than
Come
I
on,
am.
come on.
Like
I counseled a person one time. The lady had 4 kids, and she didn't want a man with children. I said, you need to get out of my office. That's what I told her.
Like,
that's
sis,
ridiculous.
come
You need to leave.
come on, yeah, come on.
Now I can understand you not wanting more,
Yes,
but you got to disqualify. You got 4,
Right.
and 3 of them by somebody different, and then you're gonna tell me I can't have none?
yeah, because I don't want to handle.
No, we can't do this.
No. Sorry, Danny.
Danny, come on, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. Like you said, that's a good topic that you have going on today.
What's happening in Florida, man? Come on, tell me.
What I find is that with the setup and the program that you have at Bethany there, it's so fitting for today's society and the way today's thinking and certain standards that we have today, where it helps both male, female, married, unmarried, and prepares you for situations that you come up against so that you can withstand the storms and different things that happen that come along, so you could understand each other.
Yeah.
Because from the beginning, you had the programs for the men so that we could better understand the way that women think, and then you went back to show the way that men think and the difference between the two. So you put the two together, and it's all about the family, putting the family back together.
Yeah.
And that's what we need for today's society, is the focus on the family, getting the family together and have those family things. And sometimes you have to make sacrifices and what have you in order to go ahead and get that. And that's why I appreciate you so much. And then I know we at work, when we listen to that, we get back to not self, but family, and thinking about things like that and how to make it work.
Wow, thank you, Dan.
Well, I thank you for that. And
no, thank
we
you.
hear, we listen to it, and I have to relate back, like Pastor Nick, and he breaks it down, terminology, so that I could understand younger people, and they understand me. So we come together, and then we could get points together. And I most important, that helped me, I learned to listen.
I think one of the things that I've been talking to people about, especially during these last 2.5, 3 years, is I've discovered, Pastor Nick, and I don't know if you discovered this also, but most people don't listen to learn; they listen to respond.
Yep.
Yes.
Which means they're not paying attention to maybe 80%, 90% of the words that are being spoken.
Yep.
Because all I'm doing is waiting for a buzzword to respond to.
Yeah.
And usually that buzzword is something that's going to either cause me to be in debate or something that's going to make it look like you agree with me. So we can have a 30-minute conversation. I'm totally disagreeing with you, but because you're not listening to the entire conversation, you hear what you want to hear and walk out and say, Bishop agreed with me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Filtering all through there. Yeah.
What kind of filter is that?
I know. I made up mine.
Okay.
Just
It feels
crazy.
reprobate.
Yeah, it is.
Dan, how's my sister doing? Go ahead, man.
That you both do when you're presenting something or you're talking on a particular subject or topic, is that you have a way of making it plain. My grandmother used to always say, make it plain, and that's what you do. And that creates a better understanding. And, we appreciate that.
I appreciate it, man. My grandmother used to say, put it in the trough where grandma can get it.
That's right.
Yep.
But then you got people elbowing at the trough. But I guess that's a good sign.
Yep.
Man, how's my sister doing?
It's very good and blessed, and
Highly favored.
we'll really appreciate you.
Please tell her I'm still praying for her.
Okay, we'll do, Bishop.
Talk to you, man.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, we appreciate you.
Bye-bye now.
See you.
So we invite you to, no, this can't be right. Tomorrow's not Wednesday.
Oh, sorry. I
All right,
did
all right.
that. I'm sorry.
Okay, I thought maybe I missed a Sunday.
No.
Tomorrow is First Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're inviting you to join us all day long. 8 a.m. is our virtual worship service. 11 a.m. is our second service. Of course, and 6 o'clock in the evening, we have our communion celebration. We want you to join us. We'll be virtual tomorrow since it's holiday for communion.
Yeah.
But the Sunday will be outside at 11 o'clock. We want you to join us for outdoor worship experience. Once again, if you have a prayer request, send it to social@gotobethany.com and subscribe to our podcast, DGEMS, DGEMS, and the OnPointe podcast, but also subscribe to David G. Evans 1 and BBC of NJ on YouTube. BBC of NJ, David G. Evans 1 on YouTube. What else is going on?
Your anniversary this month.
Oh, man.
32 years.
32 years?
Yeah, so we're sowing
Wow.
to Bishop's life the fourth Sunday of this month. Well, you can give any time this month.
Yeah.
But the fourth Sunday this month, we're asking everybody to do at least $100 if you can. Some of us are doing more. Do more
Wow.
if you can. Do the best you can.
32 years.
32 years, yeah. Yeah, we'll have more information about anything that we're doing for that fourth Sunday, but again, we're sowing.
You know what I like the most about that?
What?
Well, one of the things I like the most. I like the fact that in 32 years, I've watched people grow from 8, 9, 10, 15
Yep.
into adults, and I still have a relationship with them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seeing some of our folk started at 30, 40, now they're 60 something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what God has
It
done.
is. So y'all sow. We'll get more information out there. Just get it out ready. Get ready for that.
32nd anniversary.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And July's here, and the days are going by.
Who you telling? January moves slow. The rest of the months just
Wow. Unbelievable.
watch the summer move by so fast. Next thing you
Man.
know.
The stories I could tell.
I know.
I remember the little church.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
I know. Look at God.
Well, we're so glad you joined us today for Reverend Nicholas Smith. I'm Bishop Dave G. Evans. And remember, faith acts like a thing is so, even when it's not so, that it might be so. And I'll see you next time on Point.